house alive. Gonna set the whole goddamn place on fire.
It's Tuesday, and our guest is late, so everything's about normal around here. We're just par for the course. How's everyone doing today?
Double thumbs.
Double thumbs.
Yeah, fucking
Double
awesome, dude.
Doing okay.
2 thumbs up.
Okay.
That's it.
Fuck yeah. Like to hear that. I'm sure our guest will be along here shortly. This is pretty typical. We're y'all are used to this by now. Again, 5-10 minutes later in, doing a good old prophet, showing up like all fashionably late. Good to see. What are y'all smoking on? I've got myself some pink kush with some sort of live resin in here to grease the paper up and increase the head kickability of this doobie here.
I'm smoking on some cherry paloma, but I've been bouncing back and forth. I got a little bit of that banana daddy left over from the not from the Booth Crew meetup, but from the garden club meetup we had a couple months ago from Hoovie there. So yeah, I've been going kind of back and forth with them too, mixing them around and getting the best of both worlds there. But yeah, that's what I've been smoking on lately.
Hell yeah! How you liking that cherry paloma? How is that? Give me a little bit about that. We get to hear all about it, but I want to hear your firsthand take on it. So what you got? Tell me a little about it.
So I think a good way to describe it would be, I know you've had that banana daddy, right? From Thunder Dan. Okay, so put some gas behind that, and that's what cherry paloma is. Like,
Okay.
That's it. Like, add sprinkle a little bit of gas right on top of that banana daddy, and that's what cherry paloma is. Like that banana daddy, you've got that cherry flavor in there too. You know what I mean? So, but it's yummy, man. I enjoy smoking it. I enjoy the flavor, the taste, the high, and the structure. There's really nothing too much to complain about it. So it's just one of those. Again, credit to JR Token for finding that fucking badass pheno there, and yeah, I mean he's got everybody rolling with it now because it's a good one for sure.
Nice. Yeah, you hear so much about it, so it's exciting. Now that it's kind of in the crew, it's interesting to hear a little more about it.
That cut's been spreading around like wildfire. It's been cool to watch on Instagram and stuff like that because, like JR made no bones about it. He was going to pass it around at, I think it was the Dude Grows Cup there. One of the cups are, I don't get to go to them, so I don't pay that much attention out of jealousy to which one they each are. But anyways, and then eventually you see people with their solo cups, and then they're flipping them, and then the buds, and they're starting to show the pictures and stuff like that. We're seeing the harvests, and it's really fucking cool to see.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, I'm excited. Actually, so what we're all smoking on shit. So I think I am smoking on some Spanish Moon this evening. I think that's what I got. I don't know. I got all kinds of stuff randomly ground up and all over, but I think that's what. Yeah, we're on the Spanish Moon tonight. So really enjoying that one. We got a couple more about to come down. Threw some of those on Instagram the other day. Man, that is such a fucking photogenic plant. Big thanks to fucking Noob for sending that lady out to me. But we got some Black Forest and the Betty cut down. So the F2s and the Betty by Black Forest cross is hanging and drying. So seeds for those will be going out for testing soon. Super fucking stoked about that. So that's what I got going on.
Hell yeah, dude. That sounds badass. So we're talking about flavor profile. So that Spanish Moon, what would be the flavor profile or the pheno that you grew out?
It's got a floral grape. So it's not like super fruity and it's not super floral, but it's like a sweet floral grapey. And it's not weird in any way. And then it's just got a nice, smooth, like half gas. So it's very smooth smoke, man. Nice and heavy. Really tasty.
Oh yeah, that sounds fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it almost sounds to me like it smokes the way it looks because it looks fucking yummy.
Oh yeah. No, it smokes exactly how it looks, man. Fucking smooth, easy, with a nice sharp fucking hit to it. So, oh yeah, man. I'm
Sweet.
hoping that honestly though, I mean, I like the flavor profile of like that Black Forest way better. It's just I love that shit. And I really want to get the look of that Spanish Moon, but just have the complete flavor profile of that Black Forest in there. So I'll be working that one over a few years to try to find, just to try to make it, just because I've got it in my head and now I want to make it to see if I can. So that'll be a project I'll be working on for a while, just for fun. But
Hell yeah, can't wait. And let me know if you need any testers.
oh yeah, you're always high on the list, buddy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, 311 just talking too. Yeah, that Bicket. That was something that'd be interesting to try too. I've had the rosin, never had the flower, but
That's
that
one that I very much want to get my hands on. I've mentioned a few times now how I'm done with. We all say we're done buying seeds, and I'm sure we all actually mean it when we say it. But I think he's kind of Nick with that Bicket and some of the crosses that he's done with it. I think that would be one of the few things off the top of my head now that I'd be willing to reach out and search for because I've heard about it so much. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a guy we definitely need to reach out to and fucking get on here to talk to, because I'd like to hear all about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I would love to chat him up. That's a great idea. I saw Emuff was mentioned him in is it Jimmy Toucans? I think it was in the chat there.
Yep. Yeah. Some interesting line of people to try to get to talk to for sure. That'll be fun. But on that, fucking, what's G-Bay smoking on tonight?
Excuse me. Garlic. Well, fuck, I can't even speak.
It must be the shirt or something like that, eh? We just ignore him like a redheaded stepchild. Sitting there taking all his time. You're on mute, buddy.
You're on mute, G-Bay.
Well, yeah, Eddie
This
tried
is
to
like
figure it out.
month-old garlic rosin here, so get some better light on it there.
Month old. How do you still have it around?
Well, because I made like 30 grams of it.
Good answer.
Yeah, so there you go. You get a little bit of swirly in there, nice terpy oil to it. It's if you let it settle, that'll go away. But usually I'll whip it. I get into it maybe a dab or two every couple of days. So when I get in there, I'll whip it up a bit, and it kind of activate. I guess wastes a bunch of terps. Really, is what it does. Because I'm smelling them, right? They're offering, but it gets them kind of makes it a little more attractive. But nice low temp dab there, and I can't speak, so someone else take over.
So it works, is what you're saying.
Yeah, so it must be good. So you told
really
us you got you got some dabs there and whatnot, but you didn't mention the name, or did he? Or am I the one that's dabbed out? Did he say your name?
Yeah, he said it was the garlic cookies.
Garlic
Yeah,
cookies.
about a month ago.
Garlic cookies.
Yeah,
I knew it was a strain from a month ago. Garlic cookies. That's from the Good Weed Company, right?
Yeah. Yep.
That is
Nice.
the plant, man. I'm telling you, it's I'm not used to it or immune to it or anything, but it's a flavor profile I've become very accustomed to the last while, just because I had so much of it. and it just works so goddamn well. Problem is, I have been putting it away. Like you heard me say, I've been taking a dab or two every other day because it's just get away from me for now. Like it's like a hot girlfriend. You want her around, but fuck, like shut up. So
like she's just too hot. Yeah.
Yeah, like a hot crazy
you know,
I would have
That's what
laughed
this
if Mrs. G-Bay just fucking reaches in and stroked him across the chin for that one. Eh?
No, she's in chat, so she can't reach me right now. She'll forget by the time she gets home.
You better hope so.
Nah, she's all fair and game. She knows. She'll make fun of me. We'll call it even.
So Sniff, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing just wonderful. Just wonderful. I'm smoking on something that's called Pink Freeze. All I know is it's a clone we get, and that's what grows here good in the summer season. So we grow a lot of it, and I got a few jars still kicking around, so I'm enjoying that. And we got a big crowd in chat tonight, folks. Hope they're all in live chat.
Oh shit, Sniff, you clever bastard. I see what you did there.
Oh, what's going on?
See, I was ready for you.
I missed it.
Right,
I was
on.
a little bit too
Always
slow on
moving
that
ahead of
one.
plan.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah. So, what the hell? I had something. I had it, and then I lost it. Now it's gone.
Also
well.
par for the course around here.
Yeah. I think that's what happens. The first dab frog hits, and then you're like, bleh.
See, I'm still just casually puffing on a joint. I haven't even fucking touched. Actually, my dabs aren't even down here now that I look around.
What the hell, you failure?
I'm smoking good, strong weed like it was new bag of weed day today. So we got 2 of them. And
What you got?
I put diamonds in there to make it really funner. The second one I've been smoking since I've been on here. So that's pretty good.
All right, I guess. Jeez.
Actually, no, I think I told a lie. I think I put the other one out before we started. But like, yeah, I've smoked like this is the second one in like the last half hour. So that's decent, right?
Yeah.
And there'll probably be more.
You know what? I was trying to think how, if you just wanted to reset some pots, you just wanted to keep them out, but they're going to basically sit stagnant for about a month. Like, would you do anything special for them? So basically, I've chopped the plants out. I need to get them out of the tent, disassemble the tent, and then just store them for the time being, with soil and everything in it.
Well, that sounds like what I do all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, do you do anything special? Do you try to keep it moist, or do you just kind of just let it dry crazy the fuck out and then do all your rehydrating processes afterwards?
Typically, I would just let it dry out because I worry about it getting anaerobic if you have a bunch of water sitting in there because it's like God knows how long it'll sit there if there's nothing to soak it up. It can be quite a while, even with these little green sips I've got now. But Tippy, you're also dealing with a lot bigger beds than I am. All right, I deal with these little 16 by 16 sips or 3-gallon pots and stuff like that. So it's fuck all for me to stack up, say, half a dozen 3-gallon pots full of dirt on top of each other and just kind of throw them in a corner somewhere. You know what I mean?
Right. These are 25-gallon,
Yeah. There's a difference.
Yeah, slightly. So I was even thinking, there's life in them, right? So I want to at least try to keep it at the barest amount of moisture, so the worms don't fucking just go into stasis or die, so that the things are still working the soil. There might not be anything growing out of it, but at least to try to keep a little of that moisture around there is what I was thinking. But I'm just not entirely certain it's the best idea. So I was just kind of trying to see what you guys thought about all that.
Yeah, I keep it just a bit of weight to it, and I try to put. Luckily, the tops of my pots are the same size as the catch trays. So if I put a catch tray on top, it completely it basically is a lid almost. So I take the catch tray from underneath after I'm not watering and shit anymore, and I put it on as a lid basically, and just try not to have it too wet because you don't want like you guys were saying, no anaerobic crap going on, but just enough to keep the little bitties going.
Yeah, I was almost considering like stacking one pot on top of the other one. Then I could really just kind of take care of the one. The one pot will keep the moisture and humidity down inside the other one while only having to really deal with the one on top of it. Let's see. Hold on, Noof. I can't really put a cover crop on it because it ain't gonna see any light. So there's not. We're not having them in a lit situation. So yeah, otherwise I'd just grow the cover crop and I wouldn't be worried about it. Also, I got real mad, man. I had one of them kind of sitting out and I wasn't paying any attention. And I walk out of my grow and I come over and I look just as my cat is in my thing, scratching the cover crop over the top of his fucking shit. I was like,
Oh, you motherfucker.
Right. That pot's done. Right. It's gone. But I was so fucking mad. And it was my fault. I knew I shouldn't have done that. I mean, shit, that's exactly what that thing wants, I felt like an idiot afterwards, but now I got to take care of. So things you got to think about when you're just fucking putting shit around,
We got to be careful around here because our cat, I haven't caught her actually shitting or pissing, at least not recently, but she will dig. And I think what it is someone will come downstairs and she's digging in a pot if I have it sitting out. Because oftentimes if I'm harvesting a bunch of plants, I might stack 3 of those green pots right behind me. And if I don't cover it up and you got the open dirt, you'll come downstairs and see a bunch of dirt on the fucking floor and looking like, fuck, she's been in there. Stick your hand in there kind of slowly feeling for warmth and you're just like cringing and you're like, it's cold. It's dry. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yemuff is over there saying, "Don't fuck with cats." You guys ever watch that one
No, he just said, "Don't
documentary
fuck
on
There's a
Netflix?
difference.
Yeah, that's not what he said. Something totally different.
Now, what my question is, what did Thunder Dan to have to be told, don't fuck cats?
Well, because he was being mean to my cat. He said, fuck that cat.
Okay.
I don't know nobody wants to fuck that cat. That's mean. It's gross.
Any good country boys probably have been tore up by a fucking barn cat once or twice and doesn't like them very much.
It's like that fucking meme of the old white lady who's just covered in fucking scratches holding out her cat going, I love you so much.
You ever see the dude interviewing one, or not interviewing a cat? He's doing like a thing for a humane society or whatever. And the cat has a little fucking spaz out, freak out, but it's on a leash or whatever, I think. And it runs up his leg and claws them all up all on TV on the news. Oh, that's awesome.
Shit, I just had
our cat is so nice.
I just had our cat all fucking rolled up like a little baby in my house coat, fucking as if it was in a blanket. My old lady calls it a burrito because she wants to be an antisocial little bitch. And it's like, no, fuck you, don't pet me. And I'm like, no, see, that's your mistake. We are a loving family in this house, and we like to pet our animals. So come here. And if she pisses and moans too much, I'll just wrap her right the fuck up and sit her on the couch between us and just pat her head, and she can't get away. This is the penalty for being a negative around here. We just like positivity, positive reinforcement. You will love the pets.
I forgot why. I used to have to do that to my iguana for some reason too, and I can't remember I think it was when I used to have to try to trim its nails. So I'd have to get like one fucking foot at a time, but I'd have to wrap the fucking iguana all up and get it to where
what was that cartoon?
I'll
hug you and squeeze you.
Yeah. That
I will hug you and love you and squeeze you. And
is it Elmira?
So I think so, something like that.
Yeah,
I think it was Elmira. Yeah.
Yeah, I love my pets are good, but keep them out of here, man.
Fucking Blue Kiss showed me a fucking wicked video today that I'd never seen of. Now I've been aware of Derek Trucks for quite a few years now. Big fan of his. This is a video of him when he was 13, just fucking wailing on Layla. You know that piano-y part at the end that you usually shut it off because the best part of the fucking song's over? Fuck, man, he just wailing on this on slide guitar. I'm just like mind blown. Like, and I think what I said to her was, how often, like, or no, who in the fuck takes an Eric Clapton song and improves it by playing guitar? I was just like, wow. So if you guys are into like some wicked bluesy slide guitar, check that out. It's a video of
Ooh, you're gonna have to post a link on that one there, Caribou.
I've got it somewhere. She, I think, yeah, she sent it to me, so I can send that around. It's a good one, man.
Yeah, anything that Eric Clapton, dude, fucking right on, dude. I mean, on what gets down. I mean, you could go on and on and on with all the jams, and you're talking about doing it on a guitar.
Yeah. Clapton is
Yeah.
God, or so I've been told at times. I've seen the writing and the graffiti on the walls and shit like that in the pictures. It's the Slow Hand is one of my favorite albums. I absolutely love that. When I got married, in the failed lifetime of the past there, and maybe it's because I got to pick the music for all the dancing spots. She got to do all the wedding planning, and I was just like, okay, I just want to pick the music. So like our first dance after the wedding, after the marriage and the reception shit was the Road Behind by Guar. I was like, yeah, because that's fucking awesome. But the second one was Wonderful Tonight, off of Slow Hand. Like, it's still one of my favorite songs. And it's funny because I have a hard time listening to The Road Behind now, but Wonderful Tonight by Eric Clapton, I fucking got no problem listening to that. It's a fucking great tune. I was just rocking that on vinyl with my dad when I was in Prince George. Like, what was that, last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever that was?
Yeah, dude. I mean, you could go on and on with a lot of the hits that he had. I mean, the top. I'm sure he had multiple hits in the 100s for sure. Layla, Change the World.
Cocaine. He covered
Cocaine.
Sheriff was another big one.
Shot the shit. Yeah, I mean, dude.
Wonderful
This
Tonight.
guy
With Cream or two, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Some other ones.
Yeah.
Sunshine of Your Love. That was probably his best days for me. Was when he was
White
kind of
Room.
hippy-dippied out. No.
Yep.
Doing
No, he's the guy's got some fucking.
Yeah, and you know what? We haven't even mentioned the one that everyone knows, Tears in Heaven, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
I mean, Tears in Heaven. I mean, that one is real close and personal to him. I don't know if you guys know the story behind that.
Yeah.
But that is, I mean, this guy sings from the heart, and I mean that's soul. That's some soul music for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Derek is Eric. I was thinking, when they released Derek and the Dominoes, it was the fact that Eric Clapton had anything to do with it. They tried to keep that secret, right? And because his name was going to sell. And then when that was released, and for all of a sudden that was the big fucking headlines and all over the places. Derek is Eric.
The cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, like growing up, my dad, like that was his go-to, and that's how I got into Eric Clapton, because my dad would jam to it back in the 80s and whatnot, and I would hear it, and at that time, I didn't think it was the cool shit, but I grew to love it, and here I am now, my dad's age, and I swear up and down by what he left, his footprint, in the music industry. I mean, it's absolutely, I mean, it's great.
Yeah. Clapton's "You Look Wonderful Tonight" is me and my wife's wedding song.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I like that song.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
That's like great minds there, eh, Fluff?
Great. Okay. Yeah.
Dude,
I'll
that's the
take
best we will ever come to fucking being brilliant together. So let's just fucking take
All right. I'll take it.
Oh,
Got it.
my divorce fucking failed horribly, so I don't know about it. Once again, we're gonna was it really great minds?
Yeah, mine's working all right.
Yeah, Kingfish. We mentioned Layla already, man. That's a cool one. I like that one.
Yeah, bro,
Crossroads.
they were talking about Layla while you were busting my balls about my Xbox headphones, all right? So pay attention.
Don't make me get the guitar.
So now, so here's another one. In kind of when I look back in music, you kind of see like the originators and then like the next generation's versions of, right. Like, so yeah, like when you follow the lines of rock and roll, you can trace it back to blues. You had your guys like Robert Johnson, your Big Bill Broonsies, your Muddy Waters, and all these other your BB Kings, all the stuff that back in the day, your blues players. Rolling Stones, Aerosmith, Led Zeppelin, yada, 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 Eric Clapton, they were all kind of the next ones. Fuck. I stand by my statement.
I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm with Donkey on that one, so I had to pass that one out.
No, not me. I am in huge disagreement with that statement. That's like
shit.
the put you to sleep part.
It's a little long, but it's come on now. Ding, ding, ding.
Hey, you know what? Here, changing the subject. I'm sorry, guys, but are you guys I mean, experiencing this drastic weather change? I mean, in the middle of February, hitting close to 80s and whatnot, man. That's some crazy ass shit, bro.
This is the kind of thing that gets all us gardeners ready for fucking early spring right before it kicks us right in the balls. That's all this is.
This is the wind up to the kick in the balls.
Exactly.
The leg
Right when you think there's no possible way that this could fuck up your garden and you throw everything outside, it's gonna smoke you.
I had like a mosquito. I don't think it was a mosquito, but some type of flying insect bug today at work. And I'm like, that's just fucking weird, middle of February, to have any type of life form fucking moving about.
Oh,
Bro,
the fucking ladybugs are everywhere right now.
Ladybug. Okay, bees came out a couple days ago, and the fucking wasps. I'm like, what the fuck? This is the middle of February. This is crazy.
Let the wasp come out and die. They can.
Yeah, right. Yeah, look
die.
good.
The
Let
bees,
them dumb
let's hope they
motherfuckers
don't.
come out.
When I got home from that show Saturday night, I think it was about 10:30 at night, somewhere around there, and it was just starting to snow. When we were done doing the podcast at what's like 7:30 in the morning or whatever, there was over a foot of fucking snow on the ground outside. It was like, what the fuck? That's like just about and it didn't stop for a day and a half. It was like we got like our year's total in snow up to that point in like a day and a half, 2 days. It's like, fuck me. It was funny though, because I had to go pick my daughter up, and it was like driving down the roads, the plows hadn't been out yet down any of the roads. And then, but as we're going down on, you can see the grader coming up. So I just kind of fucking pull over, let him go by so I could have, awesome roads to drive on after that. And he just kind of smiled at me, a wave, thank you. We're driving by, I see people stuck fucking all over the place. It's fucking ridiculous. It's like, I ain't stopping. I can't stop, because if my car fucking stops, I ain't fucking moving, because you're just fucking drifting and hydroplaning all over the fucking powdered snow. It was awesome. Driving little cars is sweet.
Yeah, I think Thunder Dan made a point there. He says this is not, this is the beginning of spring. I don't know if you guys recall this, but in the middle of December, we went, we were hitting some records, with the low temperatures and snow and whatnot in the middle, the second week of December, right? And we're like, oh, wow, this is an early, it was before winter actually even started. So everyone was like, wow, this is an early winter. This is going to be a rough winter. Well, I mean, that was our winter pretty much, and here we are in the middle of February, and we're actually breaking temperature records right now. It's fucking crazy.
To be where I am and to have went tobogganing once and have put 80 miles on a snowmobile, and like ice is pretty well unsafe to travel most places. A lot of people are using scoots. It's just weird. Usually we're locked solid, right?
See, this is right about that time of year where the last say 4 to 5 years we expect it's going to come back. We don't know how bad or how long, but kind of right around now. Whereas say up until for the last 10, 15 years before that, because this time of year where you could typically expect that snow's going to fuck off. Where I was living in Williams Lake, the community an hour away from here, or again, like end of February, there was no snow in my yard. And like every year I lived in that fucking yard, which is like about 4 or 5 of them. So it's like, that was sweet.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a trend. I mean, it's weird how from last year compared to this year, it's the complete opposite. I think last year we were breaking low records, and and here come around this year, it's not. It's the opposite. We're breaking heat records, right? And that's just it's just
Yeah.
kind of weird how it just kind of twisted like that,
I got an interesting one. I like this comment that Dan says, and I kind of agree with it and kind of don't, because he was saying, when the ground temps get warm enough for plants to bloom, then Mother Nature has said, fuck it. But we have had it out here where the trees started to get everything going, and like they had leaves on them, and then the cold came in and just fucking smoked them. Now, that was really awesome because those trees didn't throw any black walnuts that year. So I was super stoked about that. But that was weird because, right, we were all like, well, fuck. I mean, summer's here, man. Trees already got leaves on them. And then a fucking cold front came in and just smoked it all. So, I mean, it still happens. It's even Mother Nature gets her own self fucked up every once in a while.
Yeah,
Well,
I think I still got one good ass whooping to take before the winter leaves. It's been
But
mild the whole time though. Like it's dumped on me for like a day or two here and there, but nothing.
yeah, I'll tell you the only thing I'm really sad about is I didn't fucking get a greenhouse up this year, because I would have had no problem keeping heat in that motherfucker this year. It would have been so easy to run a greenhouse this
I
year.
could have.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'd have been pushing goddamn fucking fruit all year. Tomato. I'd have pushed my whole freaking garden this year. I'd have been making spaghetti sauce in December.
That'd be badass. That's like my fucking dream I want to get to there.
Well, right, and yeah, I mean, eventually, we got to get them put up. I was hoping to this year, but with everything that's kind of gone on with us, I just don't know if the funds will be there for it. So we'll just expand the garden and do more saving before we get the greenhouse up. But it's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. What's funny? I went to it wasn't Tractor Supply. Um, it's one of those Tractor Supply stores, and it's not Harbor Freight. It's the other one. I can't remember the name. Um, anyways, I was there today, and I'm walking up and down the aisles, and I already start seeing all the spring stuff coming up. And Northern Tools is the name of the place, right? And so I'm working my way down the aisle, and I go by the garden section, and I start looking at all these kits for the raised gardens and whatnot. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, and it's hot out today, right? It was like 74, 75. And I'm like, is it time? I mean, I'm already looking at this like I'm really considering buying it right now and putting it out in the backyard, and it's just it's kind of weird. I'm not used to this in the middle of February.
It's got everyone kind of freaked out, just the way it is.
Yeah.
Well, with
You know,
with the whole state of the world and everything that fucking goes on, man, it's hard to tell. You know, they say global warming's real at one point. They say it's not fucking real, and then anyway, all
Yeah,
that
we can
crazy
go in
shit.
cycles too. I don't know, like I'm sure if you looked at the trends, like if you looked at a chart and
Oh, right. Yeah,
put the
absolutely. Well,
graph in the
that's what the
trends.
Farmer's Almanac's all about, right? It
Yeah.
was just tracking those trends and doing all that shit.
right. So what does the Farmer's Almanac say about this year? I mean, are we
I
on schedule with what
no,
the?
I believe we were supposed to. I believe the almanac. I don't
I'm
100%
pretty
remember,
sure
but I
up in
believe it was
my
supposed to be a
area,
rough winter.
that's kind of the gist of what I think we were supposed to have. It was a long, drawn out winter, or something along those lines. Is what I was told it said.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I remember it fucking reading too.
And
I didn't
it's
buy
this,
it. I was perusing it in the fucking aisle, but
and this is right about that time of year where if nature's going to draw it out, where that would start happening. Because let's face it, this is typically. It sounds like you guys got full on spring going on down there, and this is for us where it's like it could go either way, I guess, right? It could be like, nope, she's not fucking leaving yet, or she'll fucking let us off the hook. It looks like she doesn't want to let us off the hook though, because I almost shit my fucking pants when I walked out that door. Because I was telling you guys on the show Sunday morning, oh yeah, it looks like we got about 4 or 5 inches of snow out there. And I fucking go outside and it's like over a foot. Like you go to open the door and you're scraping a few inches of fucking snow. We're going to open your car door to get in the fucking thing. It was, yeah, well, that was, yeah, I haven't had a snowfall quite like that in a while. And it's heavy as too, right? It's shit, because it's like maybe a degree or two below freezing, something like that. So then you give it another hour or so, and it's basically freaking raining. Thank you, 2 cents.
dude, that fucking that groundhog was so wrong. The motherfucker couldn't even make it through. That dead motherfucker. Wasn't that up there? Was that like by you guys, Caribou, where the groundhog died?
Oh, I don't pay
What?
any attention to that
Yeah,
shit.
they had the whole fucking groundhog fest and shit. And when they went to go get the groundhog, motherfucker was dead.
That's funny though.
No.
Yeah. Yeah,
Imagine all
they
the-
had the whole fucking party and shit and never got the groundhog out and stuff.
No,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, it was fucking funny. Yeah, look it up, man. It was funny.
Oh
fucking
God.
traumatized little kids and shit like that. Oh, mommy, daddy, let's go see the groundhog. Yay. No, it's dead. Oh, shit.
It
I bet next
died.
year everybody has 2 groundhogs.
Is that true?
I bet you they will have 2 next year just in case one dies.
Yeah, well, now.
You gotta have backup.
It's effed up. Yeah, no, it's something like a groundhog celebrate or like bringing him out of a cage to look for a shadow sounds like exactly the kind of occasion I would avoid.
Oh, dude, if I was a kid, I'd be traumatized for them to announce that news, that terrible news. Mr. Groundhog died. And you're not, that's not what you're expecting to hear, right?
You just say, hey, kids, he didn't see his shadow this year. Sorry, it's going to be a long one. However that works out, right? Just don't necessarily tell them the entire truth. Just say, hey, he didn't see shit, so that includes his shadow. No, too insensitive.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I don't know. So if it sees its shadow, does that mean it's a long winter?
I'm assuming. I don't know. I don't pay attention to this stuff. I'm like,
Okay, so it's a long winter or a short winter, or spring starts early or starts late, right? So what is it?
Well, they say there's 6 more weeks of winter, whichever the case may be, whether he sees a shadow or not. So there's 6 more weeks of winter. If you look at the calendar and look at the equinox or the spring, there's 6 weeks of winter anyway. So
Okay.
it's
Or does it mean the day of groundhog? You're going to tack on another 6 weeks.
6 weeks is when spring comes anyway. So from February 2nd.
Okay.
When the
Uh,
groundhog
It
coughs
like
his head
doesn't
up,
matter.
you use
It's
a
supposed to like be telling you that it's just going to be colder after winter. Fucking some
Yeah.
bullshit like that. You're just going to be in an extended cold period after that 6 weeks,
all right.
right?
So when it comes to the groundhog and the farmer's almanac, which one do I want to go with? Like, am I
The
going to go with the
almanac.
farmer
Yeah,
or am I
man.
going to go with the groundhog?
Okay, some rodent that lives in a hole in the ground is probably not the arbiter of truth when it comes to the seasons. I could be wrong.
Has it ever been sunny over you, Raider, and cloudy 2 miles away?
Oh, dude, on the same time, the same day, man.
Yeah. Yeah, you get two groundhogs coming up 2 different spots. There's 2 different conflicting stories right there. 2 different predictions.
You know, just a comment on that thing by Hoobie. That used to be probably one of my favorite parts about our show and our chat was when Raider was learning things in chat about Canada from Hurton. All right, so yes, let's let Raider learn. All right, it's a beautiful thing, man. Raider learns all kinds of things.
Yeah,
It's
well,
fun.
where is Hurton, by the way, man? I haven't seen him in a while.
I don't know. We need to get to talk to him anyway. We got to fucking talk about some topicals with him. His little
Yep.
fucking hurting for a squirt and some pretty damn good shit.
100%. I'll absolutely vouch for that stuff as someone who fucking almost like brags about how beat up their body is at a certain point. That shit works. When I come home, I like to, well, when I had some, I used to like to hose down after the shower and with the open pores and let that stuff work in. And then before bed, hit it with my topical that I have. Shit's legit. So, Hurton, we need you. We miss you. Wherever you are.
Hey, and you're all right.
Hey,
Yeah, I see Stoney saying he waits to the first week of June. Mess around outside. I'm about the same.
oh, you know what? That's funny you just mentioned that. So you're talking about first week of June. So we're talking like, into the deep spring, summertime. Well, Hurton is kind of like a bear, right? He hibernates during the winter months.
I don't blame
I
him.
mean,
It's
he's a
cold
bear.
Yeah.
He's a
outside.
bear kind of guy, right? So that makes sense. He ain't gonna come out here till about springtime. You guys watch.
He ain't
I don't
worrying
blame
about
him.
nothing but firewood right about now.
I mean, this guy uses a beer lard as moisturizer for his beard, right?
This is badass.
I heard a rumor about that.
Hey, when you are that bad of a motherfucker, all right, you're awesome. All right, you can hibernate in the winter. All right, that's
Well, because you're half bear. At that point, may as well. You're just as greasy as one now. No, I love you, Hurton. You're a great dude. It's that's interesting though. It's like when you survivalist things that you can use, right? Like bear lard, when you render that down, is actually super useful stuff. I've heard you can use it for like greasing up leather boots and stuff like that, help keep them waterproof. I've got a little to no first-hand experience with it. It's the stuff I've been told, but it's who would have thought of that? Not me.
Oh yeah,
Shit.
dude, for sure, for sure. If shit hits the fan, guess who's the first person I'm calling? It's fucking Hurton, dude.
I think your phone probably won't work anymore, but it's good to try.
Hey man, in all
Um,
the zombie books I've ever read and all the movies, that shit works for at least the first week before stuff goes fucking haywire. So we got at least a week to get shit fucking straightened out.
yeah, we got to go back to Morse code, right? But
Smoke
dude, I
signals.
mean, you tell me one person who knows Morse code. It's like we got to learn a whole new language now.
Just go over the Discord.
Yeah.
Internet's out. Internet's
Wow.
out.
What? Well, no. I mean, the internet will still be there for a little bit with the fucking cell phone
Yeah.
signal. Like you got a week.
The internet was built to take over if the phone communications went down.
All right, but will we still have landlines though? Is it time to get landline again?
Well, that's why you're on the fiber optic.
Well, do you have a Do you have a legit landline, or is it connected to the power? Because
Bro, you got some
the
dial-up
power's
shit?
probably done.
Oh man, you guys are making it too complicated now, man.
You need a sat phone, Raider. You need a sat phone.
Stat.
Every
I know, like
every
Pablo
good
Escobar,
survivalist has
right?
a fucking sat phone, man.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't have one, Raider? You don't
No,
have
I'm slacking. Sorry, guys.
Man,
I sat on a phone once. Does that count?
did you boof it?
Oh god.
No comment.
same thing.
I think they have things now for like backcountry adventuring shit where it's not a sat phone, but it's a sat messenger. So I don't know
Yeah,
if we talk.
we've got something like that for sending text messages and stuff like that, because we will go out and like BC is basically one giant mountain range, and you lose cell service fast. So we're working running saws out in fucking the middle of the bush, where if something happens, we got to be able to fucking get a hold of people, and if you can. It works through your cell phone off an app that you download that's hooked up to the whatever, a bunch of technical shit I don't fucking understand, but it is a text message sending thing.
And now you
Yeah.
know.
So somebody mentioned something along the lines. So what is it that the truck drivers use? That CB
CB.
radio? Yeah. So would that be a thing? Like, would that be an option?
A ham radio would probably be more of the thing.
Ham radio, right? Yeah.
Yeah, just fucking
Okay.
radio signals in general, picking up and trying to get them. That's going to be the shit you need to learn if you're going to fucking try to survive. When the zombos hit.
Well, but
Okay.
if you want to get to hurting, though, you're going to have to learn repeater numbers and shit like that.
Yeah.
You got a long way to go. A lot of mountains and stuff
way
to
to
bounce
go.
off.
I bet you he has an underground bunker.
I wouldn't be surprised one bit. Not one bit. He might even be there now doing the hibernating thing that we were just talking about, because that's the warmest, comfiest spot to be, where people just leave him the fuck alone. Snow's over top of the door on it. Fuck, I'll wake up in the fucking spring when the snow thaws. I wish I could do that. Fuck, if I could just
That's
sleep.
bad.
Imagine being a
Badass, dude.
hobbit in the winter. That'd be fucking dope.
I
What are the
could never be a
shoes?
hobbit. I like shoes. I like warm
Yeah.
feet.
Well, okay, I don't know
cannot.
what a hobbit is really, but you know what I mean. An earth-dwelling being for the cold months in your burrow.
So a hobbit is barefooted, right?
Oh, I don't
Yeah. Okay, dude. Like I can't do that. So when I was a kid, I would walk around. I don't walk around barefooted anymore. But when I was a kid, we had toys. We had Legos. We had marbles. And you step over those motherfuckers, it's fucking painful, bro. I ain't going to be fucking barefooted. Hell fucking no. That's some crazy ass shit, bro. Seriously, like barefooted. No, dude. I'm good. I mean, I'm good with sandals.
Before
know?
this comment goes away, I got a comment on it. Toasty's burnt. I don't know what he's talking about. He's like, stored in a Fernandez cage or whatever it's called. It's called a Faraday cage. I don't know what it's called either, but that's
Yeah, it's a Faraday cage.
That's funny.
The fuck are we talking about?
What is that?
A Faraday cage keeps
Electric
keeps
current.
things, electrical current from passing through it.
It's like a force
Okay.
field. Kind
Yeah, it's like an electrical
In
force.
all
It's a
senses.
force field for electrical.
Oh, is this like some Dungeons and Dragons type shit?
No, it's a real thing.
Yeah, I didn't know what they were talking about, but when you said Fernandez cage, oh fuck, that made me laugh.
You've never heard of a Faraday cage?
No, I don't think I have.
So Raider, sometimes I really think you lived under a rock.
Well, dude, I mean, you know what, man? I'm a real busy person, man, and it's hard to keep up with things sometimes. I'm sorry.
Well, I worked in construction, and there's a lot of crazy motherfuckers in construction, and a lot of them do a lot of weird shit. So it just naturally comes up. It doesn't take long in construction for some weird shit to start coming up like that.
All right, you know what? I'll tell you what. I'm gonna take some notes down tonight, and sometime between tonight and tomorrow morning, I'll Google it and kind of do my research on
Dude,
it.
oh, you're gonna get so fucking. You're gonna love that shit. You're gonna love what it is. It's gonna tweak you
All
right
right.
the fuck out.
Yeah. Well, dude, you know what? Times are crazy now, so everybody's Googling shit and shit that you never thought you would Google, and that's just part of it. You know what I mean? So, but back to the and this how going back to what we were talking about and how this whole conversation started. We're talking about climate change and how times are different and whatnot, and we kind of went off track here. But so going back to gardening outdoors, when do you guys think it's going to be like a safe time to go, out there and start, throwing seeds down in the ground, man?
All
Like,
matters your
is it too
zone.
early because I've seen it done and I've heard of it done before, like where people will go into the winter months and sow seeds and eventually they will sprout during the springtime, right? So is it too early to put anything in the ground right now, or do you guys want to hold off for a little bit, or what are you guys thinking about that?
Yeah, I mean, you have the very real and most likely chance that your shit's gonna get fucking frozen. So anything you put out now has a very real chance of dying. Or if it doesn't sprout, right, it could overwinter and then just sprout in the springtime. But a lot of these seeds, they just don't like to fucking be like mildly overwintered like that. It's got to be like an all or nothing thing. They got to like do a whole hard freeze and all of that for them to do the overwintering. So right now, it's just a matter of like you really just check your zone. Know what zone you are in, and then they'll have a general time frame. And then, I mean, you're usually pretty close. They're pretty generous with their planting calendars when you look at those. So, for mine, we're what 6A, I think is what I am, 6A or 6B. I forget. I'm right on the line of both of them, but ours is going to be like late May. But also it's the time of year where you would start your cooler indoor crops. So like some of your lettuces, your broccolis, your Brussels sprouts, things like that, the colder weather stuff that will be sprouting. You get that stuff sprouted right now so that you can get it in the ground right after that first frost, and then you can get that stuff in harvested before the heat gets too intense and it wants to bolt and fuck that plant up. So it is the time to start some of your cooler weather crops right now, but it's time to get them indoors for a few weeks, and you still are waiting on that last real hard frost. So as long as you know
Right.
there's not a freeze coming, we're going to be good for like the cold weather stuff.
So lettuce would be good right now, right?
Yeah, your lettuces are going to be good right now. Most of your brassicas, your cabbages, broccolis, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, radishes are good right now. A lot of your, radishes. What else? I can't think right now, but yeah,
Uh,
there's a lot of good stuff that can get planted right now.
okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
Nebraska's like the colder weather there.
Yeah, it's really a matter. A lot of times, I don't store a lot of the knowledge of when you're planting season and what goes where. Like your general brassicas are cold weather, so I know when I'm going to start looking into that family of plants, it's going to be cooler weather. But I'm still going to have to do the research on it to decide how cool of weather it can be put into. So. I mean, do your research on your plant before you just start chucking them out. But there's a lot of stuff that is quite cold hardy, and it is a great time to get out now. But a lot of it is the heavy green crops, kales and things like that are going to be great coming up here real soon. Hell,
I like
it was such a mild winter that some kales didn't even fucking die this year.
I like alders
Wow.
there. Plant the dating profile, get a helper.
That's the way you roll, right? What happened to your whatever happened to your helper, the one that you hired for your last harvest, man? How's he doing?
I haven't talked to him since, man. The one flash in the pan kid one time a year. Get
Right
in,
on.
get out. Yeah. No, I do most all the
Night,
indoor stuff
Hoobie.
is done by me. It's easy to do it that way. When it comes to the outdoor, if it all comes at once, yeah, I'll get a couple kids over here. Not kids, sorry. A couple young adults. Because yeah, you're not doing that by yourself.
See, that's I was looking into talking about some of the cold and things. It's not even the fact that like when the snow hits it and things. It's the actual like freeze and frost of the ground that really ends up fucking with those plants. Once that root zone gets too fucked up, man, that's usually when you're really, those the cold hardy plants. A lot of them, a snow, they'll sit under 4 inches of snow and not give a shit. And as soon as it melts off, it's fine. Because usually that snow actually insulates the ground and it keeps the root zone fucking a little bit warmer. So they're happy and warm. But once you kind of get that frozen ground, that's when it's just all over. That's when you have to wait it out. No more playing in the garden after that.
Yeah, ISO. Toasty later.
Yeah, man. It's like once I like this year, depending, I think I'm gonna try to get some of those hazes outdoor this year. So that really puts me at the point where I am going to be I'm going to be flirting with snow on my plants. You know what I mean? And I'm perfectly okay with that, as long as, like I said, the ground isn't going to freeze. If we're just going to get a couple snows and it's going to stay in that upper 30s and 40s, enough to kind of keep it around. But, I got no problem with my plant being out there. So,
Yeah, I got a bag of haze seeds myself now, so I'm wondering if I should do the same or if I should just try it indoors to see what it is.
That's a lot harder for you up there, though, because I mean, I'm pretty comfortable to keep things out here till damn near December.
Unless you got a greenhouse, G-Bay, which you've talked about doing possibly this year, I wouldn't even risk it. Unless you got like a back corner of your yard where you just don't care if this plant makes it
That's
or
more
breaks
what I'm
it.
thinking. Just to see what it does, because they're bred seeds from a friend, so it's not like I just have a 5-pack. I got a fucking lot, and I could probably get a lot more. So
Yeah,
nice
well,
to
that's
see
the
what it
case,
does.
and but yeah, if you're going in there hoping to rely on that for smoke to get you through the winter, I'd go for something a little shorter.
No,
Those,
trying to grow a haze outdoors would be strictly experimental.
Yeah, those recliner days for Jinx, those are supposed to be able to flower in under 60 days. I think it was like 50 to 58 days or something like that.
Well, I got
apparently.
one. Got a little baby back there. We got one popped. One didn't make it, and one did.
I pulled a couple around 60 that were pretty damn done, which to my surprise. But also that same exact strain took, well into 65, 70, the next time. So, sometimes they just get lucky and they just fucking scream through, or the conditions are right down here, that they just finish nice and fast. Hell, I had. Oops, go ahead.
No, you go.
Well, there was some talk. I had those hazes I was doing, the ones that I was doing, and we had 2 that finished in 80 days. And I mean, done to my standards, a nice amber in 20 days, a 20%-ish amber, a nice coating anyway. But 80 days. And then the last pheno of it was 100 days, and the next one is going at least 110 to 120 because it wasn't done. But it seemed like being in those small pots for those hazes, keeping that tight, kind of irritated root zone really helped them
Push to the
finish.
end.
Yeah, like finish up a lot faster.
Yeah,
So,
fuck this. Let's back up.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of knew what they had, where they were going, and where they were stopped, and so. But yeah, I was shocked myself that 80 days. It's still a nice long running strain, but
Oh yeah.
for me, an 80-day haze, that's screaming fast.
Yeah. No,
Say
the
80 days doesn't bother me at all. Most shit I run's fucking about 70 or so, anyways, maybe a little bit longer. So an extra week and a half, that's that don't bother me too much at all. It's daunting when you start thinking of 120 plus days though. But I think what I'll end up doing is because I think I got about a half a dozen haze seeds that Noob sent up. I'll probably just do like a seed increase run where it'll just be an open pollination of whatever's in there at first, and then from there I'll start playing around, see what we got.
I kind of made the decision that I am going to have a tester tent running. Just it's a 3x4 tent. Nothing in there is probably going to be over like 2 or 3 gallon. Most of it's probably just going to be 1 gallon testers. But it's just the kind of bang out genetics that I want to test and try. So it's just going to be on 12 and 12 forever. So I figured, put one decent, it's a nice haze in a fucking 7-gallon pot over in the corner. So it's taking its one little space for its 100 days. And, I'll get 2 rips, all kinds of shit out before it's ready. But it's just the tent's going to be there doing it anyway. So it's just taking up a little bit extra. It's no big deal. Not in my book anyway. I'm not reliant on that space. You know what I mean? That's a tester space. That's just so I think I'm just fortunate to have that, to be able to do, because I think a lot of people, I don't know if they would be missing out, to be able to. A lot of people don't get to try a real good, true, long running haze because no one wants to fucking grow it. I mean, everybody I know who's going to try to grow for a living will laugh if you say, hey, you want to try some haze?
That's one of the keys though that you just said though. Anybody that's growing for a living, because when you take when you multiply the flowering time by 50 to 100% on top of what it already was, and I think we've discussed this so many times on the show. That's why we like everything tastes the same, and the genetics have been so muddied because people are fucking breeding towards those fast finishers, which I got to be honest. I'm looking for some of those now because most of the stuff I do grow is 10 weeks plus, and it would be nice to get at least a couple things in there that flip and finish a little bit faster than the usual stuff.
Well, and the other thing is, I mean, how many of us have a fucking full 110 to 120 day growing season? Flowering season. Flowering season.
Sure,
Because
not
growing
me.
season, I think we only have 120 or 30 day growing season period, let alone flower time. So I think am I doing my fucking math right? I think so. Anyway, too late in the evening for that right now. But right,
I'll take your word for it. I'm not willing to question you on that one.
Somebody fact check that shit. Don't take my word for it. But anyway, that's the thing. A lot of us don't even have a season to be able to fully flower out a haze, outdoors. So it's not even realistic for people who can't grow indoors and can only grow outdoors. So haze is just something that it seems like not a lot of people get to just fucking try,
Yeah, it didn't make sense because, well, I totally understand that, being that where I've often said that just trying to finish a 70-day or even an 8-weeker, you're not guaranteed that time outdoors. You're sure it can be done, but you're gambling as that, let alone once again get back to that, increase that flower time by 50 or 100%.
Right. Yeah, and you know that's the other thing. It's not everybody has the ability to have any something indoors. Period. So
Yeah.
it's if you are dedicated and all you have is outdoors, well, fuck. So, but right, I mean there is also lots of cool shit you can do. See, a lot of people, right? We were talking about so the American one, right? Light dep is great if you have a greenhouse, but if you're growing in a garden, if you have that, I mean, we're not. Let's say we're not building structures. All right, this is just some guy's got a pot out there. He's doing his thing. That's all he's got time for. I mean, yep. There's always the work you can put into it if you want to do it. There's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. But and if you think about it in reality, if you're just throwing that shit in your garden just like everything else because you're you're a summertime gardener and that's how you're gonna get your stash, then you're kind of at the mercy of what you got,
Yeah, no, I'll just like I said, for my preference, I'll take the shorter running genetics for the risk out there or auto flowers. I will run Hype's auto flowers out there. I've got absolutely no fucking problems with that. Official auto flowers of Cariboo Hart TV. Damn good stuff as well.
Yeah, see, when you get into PVC is not strong enough. There's enough wind around that PVC snap over. Next thing you know, you're losing plants, all your structures, all kinds of crap. So PVC is not a realistic structure for me that I would be putting down. Also, I'm not going to build something that's not permanent. So, I'm kind of that way. If I'm going to take my time and build it, it's going to be fucking done. I don't like moving things and changing things. I like to have it. I like shit purpose built. You know what I mean?
I have seen some the plastic piping stuff used, but it's in combination with some rebar. I don't know if they've seen it in chat. I heard seen someone talking about
I've
rebar.
seen people who, yeah, you can make the PVC hoop houses, but I don't see any that have really stood the test of time through a winter that are going to get
Yeah.
any kind of good.
You have to have like 2-foot ribs on it. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, really, I think something like that is more geared towards just like one season, and that's about it. That's all you plan on getting from it, you know?
Right. And
And usually, like when you see something like that, it's gonna be like in a garden bed, like let's just say like a 4x12 garden bed, and then they'll get like a 3/4 PVC and throw it over from the left to the right, and then throw a clear chalk right over it, you know? Um, and something like that, I expect you to get a good season out of it, and that's about it. It's not going to be permanent, right?
right.
no,
And
but if you
Well,
if
just
you
take the poly down or the tarp or whatever you're using, take it down in the winter. That's like
yeah
kind of common sense 101 up here because you see that shit all the time, fucking and like big tree nursery greenhouses and stuff like that. I've worked on those where they don't get where 50 feet wide, 200 feet long, and a single sheet of poly for the roof on that thing. And friggin' there'll be a whole bunch of them all touching, but fucking tiered together, kind of like the McDonald's arches, but fucking say a dozen of those, and they just twist and fucking. They look like the aftermath of tornado wreckages by the time spring comes around, because it's
see,
just.
I
But
think
yeah did a little
I think where the conversation gets lost for me is that if I'm running a greenhouse, I am running that motherfucker through the winter. I am going to have plants in it. It is going to be warm. This is going to be a all season grow inside of a greenhouse, right? I am purpose building this thing to run all year long. Otherwise, to me, it's not even worth having a greenhouse to extend a season the short amount of time that it does. So unless I'm running it all year, which there's a lot more that goes into that, right? You're gonna have to get your heating, your insulating. It's a little more. Yes, I could build one out of it.
Light depth for
No,
sure.
I'm not even gonna worry about light depth in it. Actually, it would be
No,
more of just a supplemental thing because wintertime, I'm really just trying to keep things alive so everything's ready to rip in the fucking when it's ready to go.
I
And
got you.
finishing off through the winter. Things that you could put in there and extend the season by an extreme amount. You know what I mean? Not just a little bit. So when I think of a greenhouse, right, I'm thinking of something hard. You know, most of my thoughts, I want it hard walls, or I want double insulated poly, right? I want double poly wall, and it's going to be like 150-mile-an-hour rated. Like it's right. It's not just a backyard kind of thrown together greenhouse. You know, I'm
Now,
looking to make something that I can turn into even profitable later. So,
have you ever considered? You ever see those sheds that they sell? Let's just say like 10 by 16 or something like that. And where you see these storage sheds that they sell, they look like little barns that you put in your backyard and whatnot. At that same, company, they usually would have like a greenhouse with the similar structure, but instead of, it being metal panels, they're transparent clear panels, and then they're used as greenhouses. Have you ever considered using maybe something like that?
You're
Can't
on
hear
mute.
him.
Muted fluff.
God damn it. Yeah. So I had like a 2-car like carport that I actually thought about just poly in the outside of it. Because we had thought about building a 2-car like attached garage to the house. So we would take that carport, and it's like a perfect fucking greenhouse. So I thought about doing all that and polying it. I could make it easily into a perfect one. But I just ain't got the right that requires building a 2-car garage attached to my house.
That would be a massive greenhouse. Hell yeah, attached to your house, that'd be badass though.
Oh, dude, if I could do that, yeah. I tried to talk my wife into that one. She put a fucking hell no to that real quick. I wanted some like
Why though? I
I
mean, you
wanted
guys
like a
could
walkout door.
self-sustain.
Oh shit. No, because I know what would happen. I'd have a tropical nursery in there. Next thing you know, the whole other half of my house would be full of black mold and rot. You
Well,
know how
then
that
you
is.
start. Yeah, I know.
You know
I
how
know.
that is. You start playing with that shit too much, it gets out of hand.
I
This is
know.
true.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It works better if we have a few more plants, and then yeah. Next thing you know, it looks like my bathroom. I got like 6 or 7 plants in there because the humidity is too low. So if the plants live in the bathroom, they get that burst of heat and humidity a couple times a day. Welcome to my world.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's no, hey man, I've got shit tucked.
Yeah, I was
in
gonna say
every
he's their
fucking
furnace
corner.
room.
Yeah. Well, right behind me, we got that cage that's opened up, and I've got a cannon that's usually just over house plants turned all the way down, but it's got a couple of those green sips under it with some Nakatomi Plaza and then some 9-pound hammer because I legit don't have any room to put them anywhere else. So I figured if I'm out of town for the next week and the stepdaughter's in Alberta, it's only the girlfriend here. Friggin', there's no harm, no foul on that one. Ain't nobody to bitch.
So there's one thing, Hooli, right? In the wintertime, I would never be in the ground. And most of the time in the greenhouse period, most of things are for mine would be in potted plants. You would have a row like rows dedicated for summertime growing, but most everything is usually off the ground and potted in those. So that's how you can get away with not having to worry about that. Because if you can keep kind of your outside ambient air at your 52 degrees or so, you can keep your soil just warm enough usually that you can keep plants and not quite in hibernation, but not quite in full growth.
So, in a greenhouse, what would you use as your heat source? Obviously, you don't want to use natural propane or liquid propane,
Wood
There's
anything
stove.
flammable like
there's
that.
lots
Are
of
you using
people
like
who
electrical
actually
heat?
no, there's lots of people actually have propane heaters and shit. Lots of people just
Use-
throw a fucking
Oh,
standard furnace into a greenhouse and let it rip.
So wouldn't that be a concern though? Like the heat exhausting off of that element going towards the you know, the plastic there.
I but lots of those. Well, a lot of times, like your flue going out can be designed, as like a cold flue, so that you wouldn't burn up the sides, things like that. Or you have typically most of those kind of things have at least your front and back are typically hard walls, so you pump your goddamn your chimney right out through that.
Did you smoke some of my
Oh,
GMO or something?
It isn't fucking. My brain ain't working real good tonight.
no. Okay, so it would actually, so it would have to be engineered in a way, designed right, to where the air coming into the greenhouse on one side of the tunnel, and then you'll have the heater right by there, where that air comes in and blows through the tunnel, and then the exhaust on the opposite end, so the heat will travel through the opposite end and not directly to above where the heat is being exhausted from, or something along those lines. So it would have to be designed, right?
I don't know. I think you're overthinking it. I
I
think
feel
it's.
like
I feel like it's
Well,
just like fucking heating
because
your
what
house, man.
I know, but the thing about it is, so you're non-insulated though is a thing,
Well, so
and
no,
you're dealing with a very
if you're to the point where you're heating your greenhouse for the winter, you are not in a non-insulated greenhouse. If you are, you're fucking wasting money, and that's not very smart. But most of them are insulated to a point where they can keep some of the heat, where they keep most of that heat inside of there. Even if it's like a double walled where they're just blowing air through the fucking sidewalls, those insulate quite fucking. I forget what the like how the R value works through that, but um they do a lot for insulation in those. So you're not just like pumping like what you think. No, they're insulated to a bit. So
okay.
I would just put a wood stove in there and make it easy.
there's so many things. I mean, even things like storing 55-gallon black drums of water in there can raise your temperature. I forget what there's like a degree per gallon per square foot. So even something just radiant water heat in buckets in there is enough to raise temperature inside your greenhouse. There's a ton of free options like to
Me,
raise the heat without doing it, at the expense of too much.
Fluff, maybe in the semi-tropical climates of southern Illinois, you might be able to keep your greenhouse warm with black buckets. I assure you, you ain't fucking doing that up here.
I said, I
Wood
said you
stove.
can raise it a little bit. I didn't. Also, yeah, hey, like Purple Thumb said, like composting inside your greenhouse is a great way because those things create tons of heat. So
Actually, one thing I've seen
What are
is
the
to go with
gases?
the composting is if you take like PEX pipe and like we're talking like miles to build up the coils and put that in a compost heap or whatever, that'll keep you and run water through that and then have that running through your beds and it'll help keep your root zones warm.
What
yeah,
would be the gases that come off of compost? Like, I guess it would be the materials used, but
CO2.
oh,
I'd love it.
well, I'm fucking
yeah. I
right.
mean, that's usually what's happening. Breakdowns or CO2, maybe a little bit of methane. But if you're
Yeah.
getting to the point where you're creating so much methane, you've got a bigger problem on your hands.
Mm-hmm. Bad compost.
Yeah, really bad compost.
Bad compost.
Probably shouldn't be composting like the dead cows and shit.
I wish I had money to fucking sit around and build greenhouses with coiled
too.
water heating compost piles and man, grower boner. Then you just get stuck going to work every day.
Now there is one. Even I was looking because I have put a lot of thought into heating it because the whole idea of running a greenhouse for me is I want to do it cheap. I want to extend the season. I like to do things as self-sufficiently as possible. So I was thinking about a lot of these ways to heat and things to do. And for me, it was another type of solar system, but it was they have them for like pools and things where it's just like a recirculating pump that goes through basically black tube through a fucking glass panel and then run that tubing through like 4x8 beds, you know, just to keep the soil warm, which also that's going to warm the greenhouse a little bit, and basically recirculating that through the whole day, you know, while the sun's hitting on it through the winter, would be one of the things to help, you know, keep it running through the winter time.
Yeah, that works well.
Yeah, at little expense. So
It's almost like the reverse geothermal. Instead of being geothermal, it's what would you call it? Whatever the sun is.
Well, it'd be solar heat, right?
Solar.
But
that's that
right, it wouldn't be as stable as a geothermal, but it's also I bet you I could do geothermal myself, but I don't really have the time or want to spend that amount of effort to do it. So this one works, and you just have to supplement a little more in the evening. It's not a perfect solution, but it helps. So.
Yeah. I've seen in the well, just to defeat some of that purpose, but in the summer around here, and if you had a clear roof, I've seen people have big coils of black hose on the roof to heat their pools. So
yeah, and they even make like cool, man, they're like big black sacks, right? They're big like rubber sacks that you just fill with water, and they do the same thing. I don't know if I don't think you get as much heat because you don't get the benefit of like the glass box kind of heating up the extra black fucking tubing, but I think it works pretty good. Anyway, these are things that eventually I hope to plan on trying. They're on the list anyway.
Oh. Yeah, next time I'm not going to put my timer to 9 p.m. or 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. because I noticed like we were always starting at 9 every time I sit down. Like it's like the music stops to the intro of the show and then it's like click. It's kind of a pain. Maybe I'll do it opposite next time.
I don't know, man. I always feel like, and maybe it's just because originally I set up my light schedule because I knew there was no way I could stop the light leaks down in my basement, like the sun coming in my basement from some of the windows that I have at the time. Right. I didn't want to paint them. I didn't have a good cover to put over them. There was just no way not to get sun down there. So I just set my light cycles to the point where I didn't have to worry about it. It was dark outside when my lights went out. But I've always felt like it just felt more natural that way to me. Like the plants know it's fucking daytime. Like, you know, when your body knows it's daytime and the shit, I feel like the plants know that. They want to be awake when it's time to be awake. I know that's probably some bullshit, but that's how I feel.
I prefer to run it on a kind of that similar schedule like that. I know plenty of people that particularly in the summer that'll run their bloom cycle at night when it's a little bit cooler instead of during the day. And, you know, that would actually probably work pretty well for me, just given the ridiculous hours that I seem to keep. But it just makes more sense for everyone else because, like, I'm going out of town, so Ashley's going to be looking after plants for a few days while I'm gone. You think she's going to be fucking watering plants at 3 a.m? Not a fucking chance. So it's just, or stuff like the furnace room, right? Well, if the lights are only on at night, then every time one of the girls goes in for ice cream out of the deep freeze or something like that, and they're turning the light on. So it's just, I think it's just better to keep everything on during waking hours. Although when I was in the shed trying to run 2 different rooms at the same time in bloom, I had to have my lights on opposite cycles because I only had enough power to run 2 lights at a time. So I was like run them for 11 and a half hours on with a half hour in between, just so you wouldn't get that overlap of timers. Because sometimes they'll drift a bit, and freaking doing that. But the benefit was in the winter, you blow air from the side that's lit up into the side that's cool that's not lit up, and it'll keep that warm in the winter, and just have that constant air exchange going. So
Yeah, there's definitely lots of benefits to it, and I know I could save some money, by running it in obviously non-prime hours. But like I said, I've got that, like, I feel like they know, just like someone said it, the circadian rhythm, man. I feel like it's a thing. We all know it.
Well,
So
and you think about it.
you ever
Yeah, I'm
wondered if
just
it? Oh, there it is.
because that's an easy. If you're up and at 'em for basically those entire 12 hours at 8 till 8 or whatever, and say something happens in the morning and you can't get into your garden all day for long, but you get home at 6 o'clock at night and you're like, oh shit, 2 more hours, yeah, I can go hammer out whatever needs to be done in the garden. You start doing that at nighttime where they come on at 8 o'clock at night and you're in bed by 10 because you got to get up at 4 in the morning or whatever the story is. And then you're out the door and it's okay. Now you've only got actually a small window to be able to fuck around in there. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of.
you know what we need to do is win the lottery so we can be around at all times and really just fuck around and be like, okay, yeah, no, I like having lights on in the middle of the night.
You know what? Once I've won the lottery, I'm not going to give a flying fuck what time my lights are on. So that'd be just fine.
Not even for experimental sakes anymore, Fluff? Or is the
No.
scientist in you dead once you're rich?
No, at that point, I'm going to fucking. I'm not even. No, I'm not even going to grow under. Well, I'll take that back. I'll throw some LEDs in the grow because most everything would be completely sun grown though at that point, supplemented with LED. But yeah, no, that's the way I'd go.
I thought you were gonna say, "Fuck, I'm going back to the HPS systems back then because I got fuck you money now."
Fuck no, no, dude. I was so on board with LED when that shit hit. The blurples were the fucking jam. I was rocking blur. I was almost to the point where I was like fighting people against the white until I got it. And then I was like, oh wait, it grows a lot like the blurple, except I can actually see what's wrong with my plants now. So,
the change in color spectrum is probably my favorite difference between LEDs and HPSs. Because the metal halides, I like the brighter, the bluer of that. The looking at your plants with the constant orange glow and hue over everything, I don't like working in that light. But now like LEDs, it's like a lot of white in there. Or I go under that AC Infinity where it's got like was it red and pink diodes in there, and it's just like you can see when you're under there. It's just such a fuller spectrum, even like all the stupid shit. It's enjoyable.
dude, I dig the shit out of like I'll come down here and because my what is this, a Vivo Sun? It's a Vivo Sun 10 or whatever, but that light leaks like a motherfucker in this thing. But you turn the lights out, in the lung room, and then through all the zipper holes, right? It's just a bunch of like blue and red. And, there's some white, and there's like some yellowish lights. There's all spectrum of light like shining through that zipper, and it's kind of cool to see.
Yeah, every once in a while when I have mine open for cooling or whatever reasons, you get just a sliver of light. It's not just it's like a rainbow.
Right? Yeah, you get to see like all the different diode colors specifically in there through that shine. It's kind of cool. But
chat was funny tonight.
I always dug like the fucking blurple spec for like growing though, because it was like so heavy in blue and so heavy in red. It like did the best of both of them without being, unfortunately.
I find those old lights too. It's like almost like you're in a black and white movie or something. Or like the TV with bad color.
Yeah, you can't work under that shit.
Like Cariboo saying, I know that just him talking about it was bugging my fucking head.
No, have you guys ever been in the same room with the purple lights on, and you're talking to the person across you, and all you can see is the eyes and the teeth?
Yeah, after a while, that is all you can see is just eyes and teeth moving. That's funny. Yeah, that's but dude, honestly, man, I mean, there's a reason that Spectrum like evolved and became a thing, right? The Blurple was like a NASA design for them to use as little power and grow as well as they could, you know. That's kind of how those Blurple LEDs came about. So, you know, right. I mean, we shit on them, but there was a lot of thought behind, you know, what they do, and what they do really well. But like I said,
Yeah,
working under them sucks balls.
because you're searching for that particular spectrum that you're not getting from these, 5,000, 3,500K LED diodes. You're just not getting that. You're getting a fraction of that on the 560, 660 nanometer diodes that they put on there, but it's not enough like what brings out that distinctive feature in the bud itself. Like, I don't know if you guys compare this from the purple lights to what the spectrum we're at now. There's a big difference in the features of the flower itself. I have so what I think. I mean, really, to make a long story short, the conclusion of this is maybe adding a little bit of purple lights as a supplement light to what you're running now. And add that feature that wasn't there before. I
See,
don't
that's the
know.
thing.
I
I
mean,
don't think it's the matter of adding like that blurple spectrum. It's just adding more deep blues and more deep reds to the spectrum. Uh, so I don't. There's been a few companies I think that make them now where you can get like I think it's like a 770 like red bar, right? Going real deep into like you're getting into like the UV and stuff like that, right? But getting to those really targeted, far away spectrums that we're not using. I think man, was it even Bruce Bugby who came out not too long ago and was talking about getting some of those deeper reds in, is how we were getting, or is getting more penetration down through canopy through the like deep reds, I think. So, looking into some of that, it makes sense because that's how those blurples run. It's super deep, each way.
super deep. So, when you say super deep, does that mean it's penetrating down to the lower part
No,
of,
I
of the
just mean it's
plant?
like very low in the it's very one-sided on the spectrum that it's at, right? Like,
Hmm.
so the blue, when I'm just saying it's deep in that spectrum, it's, going to like, I don't know, fucking almost 10,000, right? 10,000 K. And to where in the reds, you're going down to like 600 or something like that. So going real low. But
Hmm.
yeah, but anyway, so anyway, I think the talk was that a lot of those far deep red spectrums are what was giving a lot of the penetration to, because we all know like HPS lights, running those, you're going to get better penetration through those. And what they had was a more UV, more deep reds to it, stuff like that. So, yeah, I just think there's always going to be science coming out on these lights because we're going to keep growing these plants indoors. So, looking into the science, I just think that we're going to start seeing a lot more of that coming out, and this is going to be the part also where we're going to have to get into some serious safety into the grow rooms, because once we start throwing these spectrums and you start getting the UVCs and the UVBs and the UVAs, well, now you're fucking throwing cancer all over inside that thing. And, a lot of us, we like to go in there just, we ain't got no hats on. We ain't got no glasses on. You're just bare armed in there. You ain't going to be able to do that when you start running these spectrums and doing these things. So,
Yeah,
Little do
I
we know, we're probably already doing that, you
oh, you're
know?
absolutely already doing that. Most of us
Yeah.
are already frying
Yeah.
our eyes.
Well, oh yeah, yeah. So, whenever I go into any grow space, I make sure I've got some type of eye protection, even as simple as your shades, your glasses that you wear, your sunglasses you wear while you're driving out and about. That's the bare minimum you could do to protect your eyes when you're going into these grow rooms, right?
Right.
Yeah. I was talking to Caribou, and I think I mentioned it to you as well. Was so I've been trying to get Steve Johnson from Horticulture Lighting Group, HLG. I'm sure everybody knows who they are, and give us maybe some feedback on all these things that we're discussing. I think that would be great. I don't know. What do you think, Caribou?
I think it's a great idea. That'd be really cool
No,
to have someone that actually has like actual knowledge on lighting and how it all works. They can explain it because, like, I don't mean to be rude or disrespectful. Like, when I hear you guys talk about nanomals per joule or whatever the fuck, I'm just like, what? And like, yeah,
Oh yeah, right. I'm not qualified enough to speak on that shit. I speak a little
no,
bit
no.
about what I
Neither
know,
am
and hey,
I.
I ain't got no clue, but I can ask a question like nobody's business. So
Yeah, you know what, and I'm with you on that. Plus, I do electrical work, and um, I do electrical work. I don't work in light spectrum, you know, and how plants react to different types. So I think this would be a great conversation to have with someone or representing HLG. Is we could have them on, and we can kind of go over a few questions that we've got and some concerns, right? Like fluff, like what you were saying, about cancer, right? Like and eye protection. I mean, that's something that you need to really consider because it could be something, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a room. It could be something as simple as your tent, right?
I love it. Holy shit, that's cool. I'm gonna have to look into that.
that I was just reading that and when you started talking. I was like, I bet you he's reading the same thing I'm reading.
Fuck yeah, man. I'm gonna do some research into that. That sounds cool as fuck. And I can see that happening. Right. There's a lot to that, man. The spectrum, the light, all of that. How to improve, fuck around, do what we do. It's human nature to think we can do it bigger and better. And it's fun to play around that way. But at some point we have to realize that right, if we want to do it that way, that we have to start protecting ourselves, because we're not built to fucking take that shit.
Yeah, technology's moving pretty quick, so by the time we figure it hurts you, it's a little late.
Well, that's the thing. We know it hurts you, but like we think it's yeah. I think a lot of times we think like like skin cancer and things is just like a fucking giant joke and it's no big deal. But that shit'll fuck you up real quick. And like I said, these lights are getting to the point where it'll happen quickly. I mean, as a welder, all right, you don't need to wear your fucking welding jacket, all right? Those little burns, they ain't that damn bad, all right? We can all say be a man, take a little burn, no big deal. That ain't what the fuck I was ever worried about when I was welding, It was the damn cancer that all the UVs and things that come off the rays of those arcs, they are intense, they're crazy. They will burn the ever living piss out of you, and not in, a burn way, in that sun rays super bad.
And I've had it even just tacking all day. I get like sunburnt in
Fuck
here,
it.
and it's like I don't do that shit no more.
No, I mean,
Flash burn.
it's right. We get old and we realize that, damn, that shit was stupid.
Yeah,
But
when you get it in your eye, it's the worst. Like actual flash burning your eye.
Yeah.
It's like it's like little blisters on your eye, surface of your eye. Kind of like the same. You think you'd have sunburn on your skin, right? Same kind of thing. It's like every time you blink, it's like there's sand in there.
Oh God, that sounds terrible, GB.
No, it's awesome.
Good God.
Close your eyes, put on a good podcast for the next 12 hours.
hey, Donkey,
Mrs.
what are you
G-Bay.
making with rice?
Hello.
We got to
Hey,
get.
Miss Jube.
How's everyone?
Hello.
Good. How's the
Good.
day at the dispo selling drugs to the kiddies?
Good, good. Had to
Good.
kick a couple people out tonight.
Oh yeah.
Nice,
Fun.
nice.
Oh, okay.
A drunk that claimed he wasn't drunk but had a bag of empties. So
To be fair, they almost always say they're not drunk, though.
right, he could not walk straight if he fucking put $1 million on it.
But I'm not drunk.
But he wasn't drunk,
Yeah.
and he did not drink the empties.
No.
Well, no, he drank the full ones. That's why they're empty.
He was carrying them in a bag, and he's like, "But I didn't drink them." And I'm like, "But I think you did." Like, so why are they empty? He's like, "So why are they empty?" He's like, "I don't know. I'm on the way to a buddy's house." I'm like, okay.
Yeah, get away from our store, please. Thank you.
That's like the whole, the guy who brought the $40 home because the guy borrowed his pants. He shit in his pants. Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah,
We all know that joke. I'm not going to tell that joke.
No, I think I need to hear this now.
I don't. I don't think I can
Because,
remember how the whole thing
I
goes.
was like, is this an
minute.
actual story that happened, or?
I think I've heard this before, but
Yeah, it is something about a guy come home drunk. He's got fucking $40. When he goes, his wife washes his pants, got $40 in it. She goes, "What's this for?" Said, "Guy had to borrow my pants." Said, "What's the other 40 for?" Said, "Because he shit in my pants." It's like, I don't know, man. Some stupid shit like that. It's funny when somebody knows how to tell a joke, tells it.
So it's like you put $40 in your pocket, you cover your ass.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
This is textbook how to kill a joke.
I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. I don't know if it's the dabs or what, but I'm like, I don't get it.
He lost.
his beer bottles were just recycled.
Okay, so Miss GB, after you dealt with this drunk stoner, did you come back home with any goodies for Mr. GB?
Yeah.
Well,
You notice how she lit up when you said bring home any goodies? Then when you finished, yeah,
it's
tailed
kind of
off,
like,
fizzled
well,
out.
he
Fuck
hasn't
this
seemed
guy.
to want anything lately. But I did get one of my favorite strains because the price was right. Normally, if I'm going to get something, I only get like an eighth because I have so much here. But there was a half ounce of my favorite strain, Sunday Driver. It's actually quite new. It was packaged on January 24th of 2023. So it is new for a dispo. But it might be a little bit on the dry side, but I know that I can doctor that up. So I got it because it's my favorite strain. But it was what, $34.99
$40
for a half ounce.
Shit, that's not bad at
Wow,
all.
Yeah.
that's a good deal.
So even if it is a bit dry and it's not homegrown,
What's wrong with
the price
homegrown?
was right. No, I mean that it's not homegrown. That's what I mean. Like I prefer homegrown.
I just
Slow your roll there.
I'm bugging.
Okay, you know what? It smells like Sunday Driver. The buds look decent.
Yeah, it's not bad. Not popcorny, but
And
it's got that cool flavor, that cool candy-ish flavor.
that was always one of the things I hated, man. We got some. I always get excited when I find my strain at the dispo, and it rarely happens. But I got some wedding cake, nice purple,
Look at that.
dense,
Look at
look
that.
good. And same thing, man. It was just dry as a bone.
Wow, and so that was
Look at that.
$40 a half ounce. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You're down to $2 or $3 a joint for this stuff right now.
Shit, how old did you say it was? I forgot.
2 months.
January
That ain't bad.
24th, 2023.
Yeah, you ain't
That's-
shitting.
that's
That
a
ain't
great
bad
That's
for
deal.
dispo
really
weed.
good for a dispo. Like I've seen,
And that's Canadian dollar.
it is.
That's even cheaper
That's
in
like
the US.
$5 American.
Yeah, right?
No,
Exactly.
they pay you to take the weed.
Like I have an eighth right now at the store of some Sweet Berry Kush for $13.95.
I'm gonna try some of this.
Wow.
Bud.
What's the reasons for that, Mrs. GB? Is it just the markets are that flooded that you got to sell it cheap, or is it old stock you're getting rid of? Like super old
our
stock?
company, no, it's actually all new. It's yeah, so like it's not on sale because it's been sitting in the store or anything like that. But no, it's competitive prices. But I think the main reason is a lot of companies have picked up on price matching, like a lot of dispensaries. And then we also are corporate. So like Friendly Stranger, they're able to take about, I'd say, about a dozen items every couple of months and bring them down about 30%. And the reason they do that is because of competition with other stores, mostly in Ontario, because Ontario is just flooded with dispensaries. Like our small town of 17,000 people has like 6 dispensaries in like a very small radius.
And Fire and Flower is so large that they probably bought this whole harvest.
Like, well, and they've been,
you know what I mean?
They've been in a cannabis culture shop since like 1984.
Oh, Friendly Stranger literally started as I don't know if it was just a name though that sold. I don't really know the true business behind it all. Was it still like the true owners that went and turned it into this?
Yes.
Okay, well, yeah, it was like a hippie smoke shop back in
and
the 80s
now
and 90s.
it's now just changed hands because now they're old, they've retired.
We used to take road trips here to Toronto on Queen Street and go down and get posters and glass.
Oh, yeah.
You know, spoon pipes and.
So I got my first pipe and bong.
Incense and shit.
It's the only place you could really go to. Plus, it was far enough from home that you could go and do that shit and not get caught by anyone in your small town telling your parents.
Your first rolling tray, man. Like, dope. Back in the 90s. We didn't have a head shop in town. It was too small, like little retirement town. So I don't know what a head shop, like old ladies would be outside.
It wouldn't have been supported.
My rolling tray from like 1997 until I quit smoking after high school was a Hit Parader magazine with Kurt Cobain and a black and white picture of him on the cover from like, I think it was like February 97 or something like that. That issue was. And that was my rolling tray for fucking years.
I forget what I used.
My rolling tray for years was basically the Tops bag, from Tops Rolling Tobacco. Right? So I had the plastic. So instead, I took all the tobacco out and I just fucking fill it up with some ground weed and some fucking papers, and that'd be how I'd roll around all the time. And then I think eventually one of my fancy pipe smoking friends gave me like a little fucking fancy ass leather satchel that I would never use because I felt like a hipster. But probably would have fucking been better. But yeah, I just use that plastic thing, man. Fucking flap it out, roll up a joint real quick, and I'm on my way.
It's funny. I didn't have a rolling tray for a long time because I couldn't keep that shit around because my parents were the ones that thought that cannabis was the devil's lettuce. So I just used my yearbook. I literally just kept a yearbook in the back of my vehicle because that's what I like. As a teenager, that's I had all my stuff in my vehicle. Always staying out at friends' houses. I was always partying, staying at friends' houses. I was barely home.
Fucking shit all over the car. Just fucking water bottles and cigarette packs. Oh yeah,
it's not bad.
Hell yeah, 2 cents. Definitely.
Salt and pepper and shit just blaring at it.
The Camel Pool tray ashtray was a definite staple once I got that for sure. Had a couple of those.
My Belmonts.
Yeah, your sunglasses fucking 9 sizes bigger than your eyeballs.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I was the same way though, right? We couldn't keep that shit anywhere, man. So that's why I was in a Tops rolling because I could smoke. So if I accidentally left it out, it wasn't suspicious because I rolled my own smokes. So
what's the suspicious about a yearbook? Nothing.
Exactly.
Just all the fucking greasy fucking weed smears.
They didn't know what that was from.
The fact it smells funny.
That one right there, that was my rolling tray for a lot of years.
That's awesome.
Nice. It's cool that you did use something that can be referenced at any point.
I've still got the magazine, the covers pulled off through the staples and everything, so it's tucked away somewhere where it won't get torn apart and thrown all over, but still got it somewhere.
If let's see, there's a question in here real quick. Who had that? Was that Donkey? The weather wax. Those autos typically I was anywhere from 80 to 90 days from seed. So that was my usual harvest point on those. I had a couple. I think I pulled it like 100, but I was letting them go long.
And you're talking about autos, right, Flux?
Yeah, that was an auto from like literally the day it got wet, 100-day harvest.
Hmm.
So
Well, so I recently went through an experience like that where I toasted the babies when they were seedlings on a heating mat. You know, when I was trying to germinate, right? And I went ahead and put them in dirt and whatnot, and right away I put them into a 3 gallon pot. And you hit them with 18.6 and let them do their thing, and next thing you know, okay, I see you. But they were really fucking stressed out. Like they were to the point where like whatever I give you, you better be happy with because that's all I'm gonna give you because you really pissed me off when I was a baby, right? And so I went along with it, and I was like, man, fuck it. I mean, it's in the grow space where you're vegging, and it's just part of the veg room, right? And so I let it be. So to make a long story short, with all the stress and all that, we're now talking. I was probably better off just doing a feminized or regular seed versus an auto, because we're into month number 5. Yeah,
right
right.
now, see
So,
now where I'm at on. Wait, you got an auto that's on month 5 and it's not even autoing?
no, it's autoed already. It's
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's 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 at its end, but versus
But right,
say 10 week run, right, or
right,
12.
right. No,
Hmm.
exactly it, and that's kind of yeah. There was a kind of a tester strain that Hype was doing, and I had absolutely zero luck with it, and I told him everything I had from it. I saw the potential in the plant, but I wouldn't pop that specific one again. The seeds didn't want to come up strong. That's a starter for me. Like if I'm a couple days in and that seed has not popped, or if I have to go looking for it, it's not hitting the top of the soil, we already have a problem. Like if I find that seed and it's a photo, I have a chance to really do some work to that plant. But if that's an auto and I pull that thing out, that auto's fucked. It's fucked from the day it started. So if
Yep,
I get something like that, I'm not even bothering with that one anymore.
yep,
And
yep, yep.
that's what I told him. Johnny and 311, they had great luck with that plant. I did not. And in my opinion, that's it. Like it started from seed, and I am that harsh on a fucking strain. If it doesn't come up right, I don't fucking want it. Because that is the absolute pinnacle point of that auto is getting it up and out. And if it's not there, then it's not worth fucking running because it is not going to do shit for you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a learning curve for everybody and every grower and every new grower and experienced grower as well. Once you know you're having those problems, guess what? It's probably going to continue on, especially with an auto.
Yeah, yeah, it's I you know I've there's a lot of hate for autos, and I'm also not on this side where I prefer growing them. I absolutely see the benefit in them. I keep some running because I found some I like. Right, I have some hype skier running usually. It's usually where I get a good load of my CBD from. Because his plants are great. It's amazing profile. It's great smoke all around. I've always had good yield with the plants in a good time frame in a small space. I got a quarter pound off of 2 of his fucking plants in in my veg space. It took up, they were in 1.5 gallon pots. You know, you can't be mad at that. You know what I mean? It just sat there. I didn't do anything to it. Came out fantastic. So, when you have something like that, it's easy to really like them. And then when you have one that just shits out right from the get go, fuck it. Right. That plant's a piece of shit. I don't like that one. And, it wasn't, for me, it wasn't even just one. It was all of them that I tested came out that way. One of them did better than the others. It obviously leaned towards a different genetic than the other ones did. The other ones would have been better plants had they come up. They were frostier, they were prettier, they were heavier smoke. Everything about them was better, except for if they were a fucking stick because they never came out right.
I don't mind battling with plants that are like prone to deficiencies and stuff like that when like the end result is worth it. Because I find, and I've heard other people who will agree with this, that oftentimes it's not the easiest plants to grow that are giving you the best final product. Oftentimes the stuff that was more of a challenge and giving you issues turns out better. But when like literally from day one these fucking plants are giving you issues, I just don't have the patience for something like that. I don't mind you throwing me a curveball a week before bloom, 2 weeks into bloom, whatever. It keeps things interesting. But when you're a pain in the ass right from word one, no, thank you.
If these weren't me just testing a plant for him, I was committed to testing it, so I was committing to taking it from start to finish. And I was going to get that plant from start to finish no matter what. And I did. And that was kind of what it took was absolutely not worth it, and that's right. That's why I will never run that one again. When he does more work to it, like I said, I saw a lot of potential in it. The little shit that I had was super frosty, super terpy, had a wonderful high to it. I don't think it was even a heavier CBD one that I usually do from him. So it was real nice. But like I said, getting a joint off a stick isn't going to fucking cut it ever. Not in anything. And maybe if I grew that out of like a fucking 6-cell seedling tray, if I grew a joint out of 6 of every one of those, then it might be worth it. But that's about it.
Yeah, and just to make this clear for everybody that's out there listening to this conversation, again, this is Hype's testers. This is not what he's.
Right.
It is out there for you guys that have seeds from Hype and are hesitant about popping. No, everything that he puts out there is fire. So these are testers again, just making that clear for everybody out there.
Right.
Let's just be all snotty about it and say, you guys aren't good enough to get those beans fluffy.
No, that's not true. But no, I mean, and that's the importance of us getting our shit out and getting it tested, though, right? I'm just dabbling into doing some breeding and getting some projects going now, and I'm terrified to send out fucking testers to people because who knows how bad I fucked my favorite plant up. We'll find out. And but hey, that's part of the fucking learning curve, right? And I
Yeah,
wouldn't want to send this out to anybody who, without getting it tested, though.
Yeah, well, it's my fuck man. Speaking of like testers and shit like that, working on the Dalton's Pond F3s and finding lower branch nanners on there for the first time is like what a kick in the dick that is. But we'll play around and see what happens.
Yeah. No, that's part of the fun, man.
I wouldn't necessarily call it fun, but without the rainy days, we wouldn't enjoy the sunny days so much, I guess.
Yeah, Donkey Kong, and that is usually about par for what I get. When I'm in there, it's usually about 1.5 gallon pot, and it's usually about 6 to 8 ounces off of that hash it got. So, You seems like if that's what you're on track for, you're right on it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So what's everybody think about that one? It's the testing in solo cups. I've always been kind of a fan of, a mature plant. I am a big fan of always just saying you got to let that plant grow and get a little mature. And I feel like it's hard to do in a solo cup. So what do you guys think about testing in solo cups?
Dude, I'm all for it.
I
Plus,
can't do it anymore.
you could talk to a lot of the guys that we chat with on Discord that have been part of this group for quite a while, and I'm sure they could probably go on and on with tales of my solo cup stories. Um, I'm cool with the solo cups. They call me a bottle shaker or whatnot, and I run Nectar. I don't think I'm not a synthetic guy. And for a lot of people who know, Nectar for the Gods is leaned towards the organic. Obviously, they don't have that stamp of approval, but they are considered organic, right? And so,
Oh, sorry.
uh, and so a lot of times is they'll see the solo cups and they'll see literally a 2, 3 foot, maybe even 4 foot plant off of a solo cup, healthy as fuck, and they're like, yeah, that's the life of a bottle shaker, right? And no, not necessarily. Nectar for the Gods is absolutely. I'm not gonna say they're 100% organic, but they're pretty darn close to what you can get as something similar to what is that one brand there, Fluffs, that I'm looking for that comes in that cardboard style box.
Are
I
you
can't
talking
hear you.
about Foop?
No, not food.
Wait, you
They
talking about
come
Down to Earth?
down to earth, correct? Yeah. And
Oh,
so that's what I think of Nectar for the Gods. Like when somebody asks me, so what is it? It's down to earth, but in a liquid form, and that's how I managed to keep these girls happy in solo cups. Obviously, it's not. It's going to take more than one feed per day when they're at that size, but a they seem to do the job, right? So that's where I'm at with the solo cups. Um, I mean, I'm not afraid of them. I've done them up. I did the solo cup challenge, and at the solo cup challenge, I was able to do a 5 foot, almost 5.5 foot plant in a solo cup, obviously with support, right? But with consistent feeding off of nectar for the gods. So that's where I'm at with the solo cup.
I'm not nearly diligent enough to pull off anything even remotely like that. I I just I don't pay enough attention.
I think there's
That
something to
donkey's nailing it.
I think there's something to be said for it, for a stress factor, for one. I mean, a lot of people wanting to grow in small pots, pack tents, overgrow plants. I don't think it's bad for a testing factor, but I think when it comes down to, getting the stability. Well, no, stability be fine to test in that small zone because, right, you're going to stress the shit out of it. But for your terp profiles and things, to just really get maximum expression out of your plants, I feel like you got to let those roots stretch out. You got to let that plant mature longer, things like that. And yeah, you can absolutely grow and feed that motherfucker in that cup
Hmm.
and keep it keep it as happy as it's going to get. But there's definitely something to letting them fucking roots get out there and just
Oh,
be free
absolutely.
though.
No doubt. No doubt. Can
And
it be done? Absolutely.
yeah, well, yeah, it can be done. But I guess the question where I was trying to get is, do you think you get like the maximum expression out of your plant by keeping it in that solo cup, or do you
No.
think you just get good enough for what you're looking for to
Well,
continue on?
So a few years back, maybe 3, 4 years ago, I did a sea of green on solo cups, and I'll tell you, and it was all clones. So they were maybe 12 clones in solo cups, that I let go to about the third node, fourth node, and all in the solo cups, and I flipped the switch on them, and it turned out to be fucking fire. Like everything about it was just like, but it was that particular strain. I think that was a sour diesel of some type. Amherst sour diesel is what it was, and that was back in the cannabis days, right? And so I did a bunch of clones. I cut 12 clones. Well, actually, I cut more than that, and but I kept the 12 best that would fit in my footprint, and I put them out there. And by the fourth node, I flipped the switch on them, and I had a sea of green, and it turned out to be one of my heavier yielding
Cheers,
uh,
Kingfisher.
harvests in quite some time. So that was something different that I'm not used to doing, right? But yeah, that's where I'm at with the solo cups. Can you do it better? Running it organically, like in a bed, or let's just say, a 7 gal or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure you can. But that was from my experience, and that's experimenting, right? Because it's all about experimenting and trying different methods. Because I'm like the type of guy that gets tired of one style and tries to try something different just to flirt with it, and see what I can get with, doing it that particular style and whatnot, or that method, whether it's hydroponics, or straight just cocoa, or soil, or amended so or whatnot, right? So um, it's all learning experience, and I enjoy doing everything about it, man. Like I just there's no complaints about it. Like I enjoy every one, no matter what way direction I go with it. I enjoy it because it's a learning experience for me, right?
Right. It's all fun and playing, man. Right. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. I just like having the conversation about it. I have my ways and my thoughts and my opinions, and I like to see what other people think about it. And I think that's the beautiful part about opening it up to everybody, because this, like you're saying earlier, man, there's about a fucking million ways to skin a cat, and there's a half a million more to fucking grow this plant. And just doing it, it adds something to it. Having being there in your garden, growing your own shit, there's a connection to it that is unmatched with anybody else, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I think no matter what, you can almost always grow the best plant for yourself. And, you know, I mean, sure, other people can grow fire, but when the day's all said and done, man, you're gonna have that just connection with your plant, you know. So anyway, I just think there's something
Get
to that.
Yeah, dude. Get to know your plant, man, because every single one is different. Get to
Right.
know it, and you'll get to know it, and you'll know what it wants, and yeah, I mean that's really what it comes down to. Get to know your plant,
Oh,
the
fuck.
atmospheric conditions, and your style, your atmosphere, right? It's different, right? So we cannot grow what we grow here down in the south, but I bet you the people down in the north in Canada kill it, right? And vice versa, or west to west coast, right? And we could go back down to, let's just say, Africa, Afghanistan, Iraq. They could grow stuff that we can't grow. So obviously, we could grow it in a controlled environment. But everybody just grow what you grow, man. Enjoy it. It's there for everybody.
Yeah, that's I think someone was saying, right. It's fucking around with it because it's such a resilient plant, and I think it's kind of really more like you should just try growing it because it's such a resilient plant. It's hard to fuck up. When we fuck up, we're talking usually about small details, right? Like, let's be honest, man. I'm trying to grow Instagram plants, but this is my medicine. But that's what I like to do. I like my medicine to be really fucking pretty. So I'm growing Instagram plants, right? And when they don't look like Instagram plants, I'm like, I'm fucking my plant. That's not fucking reality, right? You know, if they're a little burned, if there's a little problems, if you make it from fucking start to harvest, congratulations. All right. You got your medicine, you got your smoke, and you paid as little as possible for it. Congratulations, and do it again. But right, when it comes down to us, you know, right, we're trying to optimize or what our own version of optimize is. So, you know, that's where the fun conversations come in, because this is
Yeah,
all playing.
everybody just you do you, man.
That's right.
Really.
That's right. You know, it's a lot of times I feel like, you know, we kind of that, you know, we talk a lot of shit about the bottle shakers, the salt growers and everything. But man, fuck grow your plant, buddy. You know, you grow fire. I fucking see all kinds of salt growers growing great shit, you know, and there's great conversations behind that. We were talking about it earlier. The fucking the guy who was supposed to show up tonight had a great conversation about salts and growing in them. And yeah, go check that out, and then have your conversation about that dumb topic. But the thing is, grow your plant, man. That's all you got to do. Grow your plant, grow your medicine, take care of yourself. Fucking grow your food, because that takes care of you. Just fucking play with some plants, man. And
Cheers. Hell yeah.
do it in a manner that is safe and sustainable for our environment. That
It's
is
funny,
all I
Miss
ask.
G-Bear was just mentioning her houseplants. Do tell us about your houseplants. Where are they right now?
Oh, well, it's wintertime and there's not much sun in Canada right now. So they're all living in our bathrooms, all 17 of them in our very small bathroom.
I know, I was telling them earlier. That's why.
That is awesome.
They love it. You should, honestly, it's really funny. They've only been in there for like what? Not even a month. Yeah, a couple of weeks. They already all have new sprouts shooting out of them. And I've had these plants sitting in my living room for over a year, and they haven't grown much. And now I'm getting all these new shoots on my ivy, my umbrella tree, my peperomia. What else do I have? Aloe, yucca tree.
Oh, I was so stoked. I picked up a brand new silver dragon alocasia that looked like complete ass, because I was like, I want to make this plant better. You look like crap. So I literally took like the shittiest one home with me, and then I got it home and I'm like, the fuck am I doing? Why am I taking on this fucking, it's already a temperamental piece of shit plant. Like, it's already a temperamental
That's funny, because that goes through my mind every time, but I do that every time.
Yeah, and I grabbed the shittiest one because I was like, you look like crap. I'm going to fix you. I'm probably going to kill this one too.
Actually, so that being said, does anybody have any suggestions for jade? Because I did that with a jade plant and it still looks like shit.
Nope, killed every jade I've fucking tried so far. No, me and Jade don't get along.
It's not dying, but it's not getting any better.
Mine turned into a stick. Mine turned into a stick. And then just kind of fucking fell, and I was like, "All right, I guess you're done."
And you know what? And talking about that topic, do you guys feel the same way with cannabis? Like, hey, you ugly bitch, you're not looking very good, and you're like the least attractive in my garden. Off with your head.
Yes, I never used to be. Call this 5 years ago. Every plant was sacred. Now it's so readily available. Seeds ship everywhere. You can get what you want when you want. If you don't perform, you're fucking gone.
I like the way you think.
More attached to house plants, for sure.
Oh yeah, I got a stupid little purple pink polka dot that I have been working 3 years for. That is finally starting to look like a decent plant. It's a fucking $2 plant. No one fucking cares. I love this thing and I can't stop trying to get it.
That's the way I was with my basil, bro. my basil that I picked up from fucking Home Depot. I brought it home and grew it out, and I'm like, I love you. And it was $2. It was $1.96, right?
What?
And and I did not want to get rid of it, and it wasn't going nowhere. Like if it was going to go anywhere, it's because I killed it, and it was so happy. But to make a long story short, it had to go.
All right, guys. I hate to be that guy, but it's time to shut her down. I've got shit to do tonight and shit to do in the morning before I leave town. So I've got to be the stick in the mud. To everyone in the live chat, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Y'all are fucking awesome. You lit as hell in there tonight, as usual. Loving it.
Yeah, everyone.
Yeah, great time. Friday night, we got Tommy Chong. He's going to be hanging out. Well, was hanging out with us. We're going to air that visit conversation with him. It was a great time. That's going to be an hour earlier than the usual Friday night shit show. So, however that applies to your specific time zone, I'll let you do the math because I'll get it wrong. Pretty well guaranteed. And it's about a little over an hour and a half long, I think. Now that in the final cut, and then once that's all over done, we'll jump on and do our usual Friday night shit show, I think. Anyone else got anything they want to add before we get out here?
I just want to thank chat and everybody out there for fucking hanging out with us, man. It was a good time in chat tonight. We're all over the place.
This is one of those. Oh, go ahead, Raider.
No, yeah, absolutely. Thank you, everybody out there. J. Patrick, Thunder Dan, Youth, and Supreme Grape, Jess and Bean, Skunk Gate, Wheeze and Juice, Dr. Leby, Martial Artist, Hoobie, everybody out there. Fucking love you guys. Thank you for being here and supporting us. And we look to hear seeing from you on the next one, right? And thank you guys so much.
All right, guys. See y'all Friday night. It's gonna
I'm having a dab frog right before the exit music, though.
Well, we can do that. Oh yeah. All right, everyone. Have a great week. Have a safe week. See you Friday night.
Take me down to the graveyard. Show me a resting place. often, and I dug myself a hole.